I have lost my husband. I have lost my children. Couple of years now, but I still cannot let it go. That is so sad. There's one mother. She loved her child a lot. And then her child passed away. She carried her child on her arms, in her arms, and walk around and ask for people to help. Save my son. Please save my son. People say, he's already passed away. He's already died. Please go ahead and bury him. She say, no, he is not. He's just sleeping. He's just sleeping. He's not died. He's not dead yet. Please save my child. And then when she walked to every town, every house, and knocked on the door and asked for help, that is really sad. But no one can help. When she comes to the Buddha, and Buddha said, I can save your child. I can save him if you can do for me one thing. You go on each and every house, knock on the door, their door, and ask for one seed. The sesame seed. But that seed must come from the house that have never had anyone die before. If you can get me that one seed, I will save your child. She went ahead, she was so happy and joy, and she go and knock on every door, ask, can I have a seed of sesame? And then people went, is that all you need? She said, yes, that's all I need, just one seed. And people say, we have plenty. We can give you a lot. We can give you more. But she said, no, but have anyone in your family died before? They say, yes, of course, I do. My father just passed away. And then the next time, my mother just passed away. My son just passed away. My brother just passed away. Every single house like that, and she feel exhausted, hopeless. And then she realized, in this life, everybody in this life had to go through that. Being born, aging, sickness, death. No one in this world can escape. And that is when she realized she became enlightened. Just because she realized the fact, the truth. So for us here, who already have our family, our husband, our wife, our children, our father and mother who have passed away, please understand. If you truly love them, you have to stand up and walk again. Leave them alone. Let them go with their own world, their own karma. If you keep on living in sorrow, they will not be able to go to their world where they're supposed to be. If you truly love them, you should live for them. You should be more mindful. You should be more happy for them, for yourself. Because that is something that they could not do anymore, but you can. By holding all those sorrow, it's just going to drag you down to the bottom of this world. We cannot walk. We cannot walk because all those burden is on our shoulders, dragging us down. Who's in here already have our father and mothers and our children and husband and wife pass away? You see all that? A lot of us here. What can we do to change that? Nothing. Soon is going to be our turn. No one can escape. So what we can do now is to live peacefully, happily. That is one way to support our departed ones. Because we don't know where they reborn us right now. They might need your help by sharing or transferring your merit to them. In our tradition, whenever we conduct any type of ceremony or done any wholesome deeds, we always transfer our merit to our parents, our family members, and all those people who have departed that we know, so that either maybe 1, 10, hundreds of them, if they have the chance to receive it, they will receive and reborn in a better realms. There are sometimes, if we can open our eyes, our third eye, to see the people, you would know how suffered they are. It's because we cannot see with our naked eyes. It doesn't mean that there's no spirits surround us. They are suffered too. The way we live in right now, if we suffer after we die, we suffer the same way. So, whenever they know that their relatives are doing wholesome deeds, even they live far away, different countries, different world, they always come and wait. They are here now waiting for us to transfer the merits after we have done a wholesome deeds. Listening to this talk, purify our mind, changing our life, those are meritorious deeds. But for most of the time, we don't know how to transfer it to them. So at the end, they go back to their place with tears and sadness because they didn't receive anything. So in our tradition, that's why we always share. And earlier, remember I said, we have to ask permission. Of course, right here, the city, the government already allowing us to stay here. The owner, everywhere. But then again, there are spirits around, so we always ask for permission as well. And in the morning, before we depart, we always sharing our merit to them as well. That is the way to pay gratitude. That is the way to support each other. So let's drop it all. All those we already lost our loved ones. Please remember, you now have a job. If you still have one father without mother, you have a job to do to take care of your father for your mother. Oppositely, if your mother is still alive and your father already passed, you now have a job to take care of your mother for your father. Your child, your children, your loved one, the same thing. You have a job to do to take care of the people who are still alive, to live for the people who already passed. That is how we help them. That is how we let go of all the sorrow to move on. Without moving forward, without letting go, we cannot move forward. If we cannot move forward, we suffer. And we've been suffer. That is why when this mission came out, Walk for Peace, all of us show up to support, to walk with us, either in person or in spirit. Is that right? We've been suffering too much, way too much already. And now is the call, now is the time for us to wake up. We should wake up. We should move forward instead of standing on the same spot, years after years. Our feet is very heavy to walk when we carry a bag of rocks on our shoulder. I hope I answered that question. It's a long answer, isn't it? Next question. How is Aloka? He is here with us. But then restriction. So he cannot walk a lot, but he was too excited today, so he walked way too much already. Now we have to put him on medicine so he can rest. And I don't know, maybe in a little bit he should come out. We don't know. Yes. Earlier, somebody right there.
I was wondering if you had like any advice for like us teenagers and young kids, just with how scary the world is nowadays. Like, what could like get us through it? You know what I mean? Like, I guess like bring hope. You know what I mean? Like, just any advice you have for us.
So you were asking, is there any advice for teenagers and kids nowadays? In this world, it's so scary, right? It's moving too fast. And teenagers and kids nowadays, they also suffer a lot, if you don't know. I have talked with a lot of teenagers at the temple with anxiety, depression. Many. I also went to school and taught. So here's what teenagers and kids should do, and this is something that our parents should be able to support as well. You know why we cannot focus, why we cannot concentrate on studying, why we can't focus on our things. Do you know why? It's because we depended on the others. We depended on the other too much. And then we depended on technologies way too much. How many students here? How many teenagers here? Okay. All of you have your lovers with you? Your cell phone? Yes? Okay, yes. Tell me, at school, have you ever brought your lovers to the toilet and talked? Yes? Yes, honestly. A lot of us always brought our lovers to the toilet and talk, whispering, I don't know what you're talking about in the toilet, but that is something that you always does. If you have a chance to go to the toilet, even though if you don't want to go to the toilet, you don't need it, you will find a way to go to the toilet to talk with your lover. And then when time you get diarrhea, you cannot chase. Way too late. It's because you live with your lovers. If I have to say, besides your sleeping time, the rest of the time, let's say 8 hours of sleeping. Now how many hours do we have left? You still have to think about that? There's something wrong right here. Wow. Do you know it now? Or she's still asking for advice. Wow. 24 hours minus 8. How many hours? How many? You sure? Okay, that was just a test, okay? And you all failed. Okay. 8 hours sleeping plus 5 hours snoozing and then sleep again. Just say that. For the rest of the time, you always live with your lover. When you go to school, when you go to the toilet, when you go to eat, when you go to the living room, everywhere you go, your lover is always with you. When you read the book, your lover sit right beside that book, face up. When you go to bed, lying down, your lover is right, like this. Or sideways, like this. And when you do anything in your daily life, you always have your lovers. So please tell me, how can we focus? How can we focus, please? Advise me, educate me, because I really don't know. Okay, first of all, we cannot focus because that lover is always with us and sidetracked. We always get sidetracked because of that lover. Text message, somebody call, or check on your status on your Facebook. And now that you have to check waffle keys. So many things, right? And so we cannot focus, we cannot pay attention to one thing. Just let's say eating. We cannot focus on our eating. You don't know what you eat. Because you're watching movie, you're checking on your Facebook right now. How can we mindful without eating? Our minds can only catch one thing, one object at a time. Either this or this. Cannot be both. The mind cannot split. And we are multitasking ourselves every day. Every day. Who are here multitasking yourself? Okay, just let's say all of us then. That is the reason why we depend on it. Now let me ask you one question. When the internet down, when your lover cannot be turned on, it's dead, black screen, how would you react? She tried everything within her power to turn it back on. But unfortunately, she could not. And then, bored, sad, depressed, all kind. Okay. So now you know the answer? That's very simple. That is with us every day. How can we move on? And this is the things why when, let's say, now teenagers, we have friends, we hang out with friends, we like that person, we like this person, and things like that. What if it didn't turn out the way we expected? How would we react? Sad, sorrow, suffer. What will we do after when we are sorrow, when we sad, when we suffer? We turn ourselves into anxiety, stress, anxiety, depression, and suicide. It's because we cannot bear those feelings. When our mind is way too weak, our mind is way too weak to bear any type of feelings that is sorrow, that is sad, that is suffer. We cannot bear those feelings. That is why we kill ourselves. That wild animal killing us. Right? For us to change, we have to start with our lovers. You have to make time for yourself. When is the time to touch your lovers? When is the time to eat? When it's time to play? When it's time to read? When it's time to do your homework, schoolwork? Especially in class. When you sit on that chair in the class, when the teacher said this and that, you are here checking on your status, hiding everybody and trying to do that. End up with nothing in here except the lovers and online. Unfortunately, most of the teenagers and the kids now, they are in this stage. So in order for us to change this, we have to be sure what is more important for our life? School, job, our knowledge, our wisdom, or the lovers?
The journey of 1,000 miles does not begin with the first step. It begins with the decision to stand up. In our lives, we are all pilgrims, whether we are physically marching across states in a walk for peace, or simply navigating the quiet, often turbulent terrain of our own daily existence. We are constantly in motion. We move from childhood to adulthood, from relationship to relationship, from joy to sorrow. Yet, if we look closely at the quality of our movement, we often find that we are not walking freely. We are trudging. We are exhausted not because the road is too steep, but because of what we have chosen to carry. Imagine a traveler attempting to cross a continent while dragging a heavy sack of jagged stones over their shoulder. With every mile, the weight grinds into their back, slowing their pace, consuming their energy, and fixing their gaze on the dust at their feet rather than the horizon ahead. We look at such a traveler with pity, wondering why they do not simply set the burden down. Yet, in the landscape of the human heart, we are that traveler. The stones we carry are the sorrows of the past, the grief of what we have lost, and the crushing inability to let go, to find true peace, the kind of peace that allows us to walk through life with grace and purpose. We must first understand the nature of this burden. We must learn the difficult, radical art of setting it down. The weight of the past is often most heavy when it comes in the form of grief. Loss is a universal human experience, yet it feels uniquely isolating when it strikes. We have all known the mother, the father, or the spouse who cannot move forward because they are anchored to a grave. There is a profound story, echoed in the wisdom of the ages and brought to life by Venerable Bhikkhu Panikkara, about a mother whose love for her child was so fierce that it blinded her to the reality of death. When her son passed away, she could not accept it. She carried his small, lifeless body in her arms, wandering from village to village, knocking on doors, and begging strangers for medicine to cure a boy who was already gone. She told herself he was only sleeping. She told the world he just needed the right doctor. This image is heartbreaking because it is recognizable. We may not carry a physical body, but we carry the ghost of what used to be. We knock on the doors of our memories, asking for a different ending. The mother in the story eventually came to the Buddha, desperate and exhausted. He did not lecture her on the metaphysics of death. Instead, he offered her a task. He told her he could cure her son, but she needed to bring him a single ingredient, a mustard seed. But there was a condition. This seed had to come from a household that had never known death, a house where no father, mother, child, or sibling had ever passed away. Filled with a sudden, manic hope, the mother ran to the village. She knocked on the first door, asking for the seed. The family readily agreed. They had plenty of mustard seeds. But when she asked the critical question, "Has anyone died in this house?" their faces fell. Yes, a father had just died. At the next house, a grandmother. At the next, a sibling. From door to door she went, finding kindness, finding seeds, but never finding a home untouched by loss. Slowly, the frantic energy left her. The realization dawned not as a horror, but as a liberating truth. No one escapes. This realization is the first step in dropping our bag of rocks. We often cling to our grief because we feel that moving on is a betrayal. We feel that if we stop suffering, we stop loving. But the lesson of the mustard seed is that death is not a mistake, it is the natural texture of life. By accepting that everyone in this life has to go through that, we stop fighting reality. We stop demanding that the universe make an exception for us. The mother in the story achieved enlightenment not by saving her son, but by saving herself from the delusion that she could hold onto him forever. She understood that birth, aging, sickness, and death are the tides we all swim in. To deny them is to drown. To accept them is to finally learn how to swim. However, intellectual acceptance is often easier than emotional release. Even when we know that death is inevitable, We still clutch our sorrow like a talisman. We believe that our tears are a bridge to the departed. We worry that if we smile, if we laugh, if we enjoy the warmth of the sun on our faces, we are somehow leaving them behind in the cold. But this perspective is, fundamentally, a misunderstanding of love. If we truly love those who have passed, our parents, our spouses, our children, we must ask ourselves, what would they want for us? If spirits, or energies, or souls persist, would they want to look back and see the people they loved most paralyzed by agony? By living in perpetual sorrow, we are not honoring the dead, we are trapping them. In many spiritual traditions, it is believed that our excessive grief acts as a tether, holding the departed back from their own journey, keeping them bound to the heavy, tear-soaked earth of our regret. Think of the bag of rocks metaphor again. If you are carrying 100 pounds of stone, you cannot help anyone, you cannot walk upright, you cannot offer a hand to those who are still living. You are useless to the world and useless to yourself because all your energy is spent merely sustaining your pain. Bhikkhu Panikkara suggests a powerful shift in perspective. If you have lost a father, but still have a mother, your job is not to weep for the father until the mother is neglected. Your job is to love the mother for the father. If you have lost a spouse, your job is to love your children with double the intensity. This is the alchemy of mindfulness. We transform grief into duty, and duty into love. We stand up and say, because you can no longer walk this earth, I will walk it for you. Because you can no longer see the sunset, I will watch it and appreciate it for both of us. This is not forgetting. This is active remembrance. It is letting the dead go so they can move on to their own realm, their own karma, while we remain here to finish our work. By dropping the sorrow, we do not drop the person. We simply free our hands so we can embrace the life that is still right in front of us. This leads to a beautiful and practical concept often absent in modern Western discourse, the idea of transferring merit. In a secular sense, we can understand this as dedicating the goodness of our lives to those we miss. When we perform an act of kindness, when we sit in meditation and purify our minds, or simply when we cultivate a moment of genuine happiness, we generate a positive energy. To transfer. This is to mentally offer that joy to our loved ones. It is a way of saying, I did this good thing in your name. May my peace be your peace. It is said that the departed are often waiting, not for our tears, which help no one, but for our vitality. They are waiting for us to generate something beautiful so they can share in it. When we live ethically, when we help a neighbor, or when we listen to a talk that opens our hearts, we are creating a currency of spirit. If we are drowning in depression, we have nothing to give. We are bankrupt. But if we cultivate happiness, we become rich in spirit, and we can share that wealth with the invisible world. Imagine if we viewed our happiness not as a selfish indulgence, but as a spiritual responsibility. Imagine if you woke up every morning thinking, I must find a way to be peaceful today, so that my departed mother can feel peace. This changes everything. It turns the act of living into a sacred offering. It allows us to walk lightly, knowing that our lightness is lifting up everyone connected to us, both seen and unseen. We stop being victims of loss and become agents of healing. We realize that the best tombstone is not a slab of granite, but a living, breathing human being who radiates kindness in honor of those who are gone. But as we walk this path, trying to let go of the heavy past, we encounter a new, insidious weight that pulls us down in the present moment. We may drop the bag of rocks of grief, only to immediately pick up a different kind of burden, one that is small, glowing, and fits in the palm of our hand. If we are honest with ourselves, many of us, especially the younger generation, are not walking freely because we are chained to a digital lover. This is the modern metaphor for our relationship with our smartphones and technology. It is a humorous image, but it cuts close to the bone. Think about how you treat a new lover. You want to be with them every second. You gaze into their eyes, or screen, constantly. You get anxious when they are not near. You take them everywhere. To the dinner table. To the bedroom. And yes, even to the toilet. We have developed a dependency that mimics a toxic romance. We wake up and the first thing we touch is not our own heart. Or the person sleeping next to us. But this device. We fall asleep with it glowing in our faces. We have 16 waking hours in a day. And for the vast majority of them, we are codependent with this machine. This connection, while seemingly connecting us to the world, is actually disconnecting us from ourselves. It is a different kind of rock we carry, a rock of noise, distraction, and anxiety. This digital lover is a jealous partner. It demands all of our attention. It whispers to us constantly, vibrating with notifications, likes, and breaking news. And because we are so enamored, so addicted, we lose the ability to focus. We hear teachers and parents asking, "Why can't you concentrate? Why is there so much anxiety?" The answer is simple. We have forgotten how to be alone. We have forgotten how to be present with a single task. The human mind, for all its complexity, is designed to catch one ball at a time. It cannot truly multitask. When we try to eat dinner while scrolling through a feed, we are not doing two things. We are doing neither. We are not tasting the food. And we are not truly absorbing the information. We are in a state of continuous partial attention. We are skimming the surface of our own lives. This fragmentation creates a deep, humming anxiety. We feel scattered because we are scattered. Consider the panic that sets in when the lover dies, when the battery runs out or the Wi-Fi crashes. The black screen stares back at us, and we feel a sudden, hollow void. We feel bored, then sad, then depressed. This reaction reveals a terrifying truth. Our minds have become too weak to bear their own company. We are terrified of the silence because in the silence, we might have to feel something real. We might have to feel the grief we haven't processed, or the loneliness we are trying to outrun. The device acts as a pacifier, stuffing our consciousness with digital candy so we never have to digest the nutritious, albeit sometimes bitter, meal of reality. The youth today are facing a crisis of mental health not solely because the world is scary, but because they have no sanctuary from the noise. They are carrying the digital lover into the classroom, into the bathroom, into their dreams. There is no space left for the soul to breathe. If we are constantly reacting to the external world, we have no energy left to build an internal one. So, how do we reclaim our sovereignty? How do we put down this second burden? It requires the same courage as letting go of grief. We must be willing to face the discomfort of the present moment. We have to establish boundaries with this lover. We need to designate times where we are simply human beings, eating just to eat, walking just to walk, sitting just to sit. We must ask ourselves what is truly important. Is it the dopamine hit of a stranger liking a photo? Or is it the grade in school? The connection with a living friend? The pursuit of wisdom? We have to train the mind to be strong enough to bear boredom. Boredom is not the enemy. It is the threshold of creativity. It is the quiet soil where thoughts can finally grow deep roots. If we constantly pull up the roots to check our phone, nothing will ever grow. To walk for peace means we must walk with a unified mind. We cannot be peace builders if we are at war with our own attention span. We need to reclaim those 16 hours. We need to look up. When we put the phone down, we might feel naked at first. We might feel the weight of our own thoughts returning. But this is where the real work begins. This is where we learn to carry ourselves, rather than being carried by an algorithm. Ultimately, the pilgrimage of life is about weight management. We are travelers moving through a landscape of immense beauty and inevitable suffering. To make it to the destination, to a place of inner peace and clarity, we have to look at what we are carrying. On one shoulder, we may have the heavy sack of the past, the grief for those who have died, the refusal to accept the impermanence of life. We must have the wisdom to set it down, knowing that letting go is the highest form of love. We must trust that our happiness serves the dead better than our sorrow ever could. On the other shoulder, we may have the buzzing, demanding weight of the present distraction, the technology that promises connection but delivers isolation. We must have the discipline to turn it off, to break the spell, and to relearn the art of focus. We must be brave enough to be bored, brave enough to be silent, brave enough to be alone. When we drop both these burdens, something miraculous happens. We find that our feet are light. We find that we can walk for miles without tiring. We look around and see, perhaps for the first time, the vibrant colors of the world, the faces of the people walking beside us, and the path stretching out ahead. The walk for peace is not just a protest or a parade. It is a daily practice of unburdening. It is the act of waking up, standing up, and moving forward, unencumbered and free. Let us all check our shoulders. Let us put down the rocks. Let us turn off the screens. And let us walk, truly walk, into the life that is waiting for us.